Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down something you probably see every single day, table sugar. You know it, you've tasted it, but what is it really? Let's get into it, because behind that simple sweet taste, sucrose has this amazing molecular story. It's not just one thing you see, it's more like a partnership, one with some pretty strict rules. So we're going to uncover its secret identity. We'll look at its basic building blocks, how our bodies actually manage to use it, and then a really surprising chemical twist that's a total game changer for the food industry. All right, first things first. Let's look at what sucrose is actually made of. And to do that, we have to meet its fundamental units. You could almost call them its molecular parents. Okay, so the most basic building blocks of any carbohydrate are called monosaccharides. Just think of them like the individual Lego bricks of the entire sugar world. They're the simplest little units you can possibly have. Now, sucrose. It's built from two really famous monosaccharides. First up, you've got glucose. That's the main fuel for our bodies. And then you've got its partner, fructose. That's the one you know as fruit sugar, the stuff that makes apples and berries so sweet. So how do these two totally different building blocks come together? Well, this is where it gets really interesting. It's not just some random connection. It's a very, very specific molecular handshake. What happens is an alpha-D glucose molecule and a beta-D fructose molecule link up. The special bond they form is called an alpha-1,2 glycosidic bond, and that very precise connection, well, that's what creates the disaccharide we all know as sucrose. Okay, this is the crucial part. That bond I just mentioned, it involves what are called the anomeric carbons of both sugars. Now, these are the most chemically reactive parts of the molecules. So by locking them up together in this bond, it basically neutralizes them. They can't react anymore in certain chemical tests. And that is exactly why sucrose is called a non-reducing sugar. Right, so if this molecule is locked up so tightly, how in the world do our bodies get any energy out of it? Well, it turns out our digestive system has a very special key. Deep inside your small intestine, there's this specific enzyme called sucrase, and it gets right to work. It's like a tiny molecular key, shaped perfectly to fit into that bond and just snip. It breaks the sucrose apart, releasing the glucose and fructose so your body can absorb them. And that super efficient breakdown is exactly why we're always told to watch our sugar intake, right? Because that glucose and fructose get absorbed so fast, it can cause a pretty sharp spike in your blood sugar. And, over time, too much of that is linked to things like dental problems and even insulin resistance. But wait, there's more. Sucrose has one more incredible secret up its sleeve. It's kind of like a chemical magic trick, and it happens when you look at it in a different light. I mean that literally. We're talking about something called polarized light. So what happens when you shine this special light through a sucrose solution? The answer reveals a property that is absolutely essential for making the candy, jams, and even the honey that you love. This property is called optical rotation. It sounds complicated, but it's pretty simple. Certain molecules, especially sugars, can actually bend a plane of polarized light. If they bend it to the right, we call them dextrorotatory, or just positive. If they bend it to the left, they're levorotatory, or negative. Simple as that. Okay, so let's look at the numbers here. A solution of just pure sucrose is dextrorotatory. It bends light to the right by about positive 66.5 degrees. But take a look at its building blocks, glucose and fructose. They each have their own scores, don't they? And here's the big twist. When you use that sucrase enzyme, or even just an acid, to break the sucrose apart, the new mixture of glucose and fructose to something amazing. It completely flips its personality and starts bending light to the left. This whole process is called inversion. So why on earth does that happen? Well, just look back at those numbers. Glucose has a pretty weak positive rotation, right? But fructose? Fructose is an absolute powerhouse of negative rotation at a massive minus 92 degrees. So once they're separated, fructose's powerful left-bending pull just completely overpowers glucose's wimpy right-bending push, and the whole mixture flips to negative. Okay, pretty cool chemistry trick, but so what? Why does any of this matter outside of a lab? Well, the answer is probably in your kitchen right now. This new mixture of glucose and fructose has a special name, invert sugar, and in the food world, it's a total hero. For one, it's actually sweeter than regular sucrose. But even more important, it's much less likely to crystallize. That's the secret to keeping jams, candies, and syrups perfectly smooth and not all grainy. So let's just recap the wild journey of our simple table sugar. We start with a non-reducing sugar made from glucose and fructose locked together. Then our bodies use a special enzyme key to unlock it and get energy. And if we unlock it in a lab, it pulls off that amazing inversion trick, creating something that's totally essential for a ton of the foods we love. If you're going to remember just two things from all of this, let it be this. Sucrose locks both its reactive carbons, and when you split it, it flips its rotation. That's the whole story in a nutshell. It really makes you think, doesn't it? The humble sugar cube isn't so simple after all. Makes you wonder what other secrets are hiding in plain sight, right in your own kitchen.